All right, this is a very short presentation on specialization. It's one of your key economic terms, one of the vocabulary words that you have to know, and it's just an important concept for you to understand about why countries trade with other countries. As we did on the last video, anytime I'm about to change slides, I'm going to say the phrase next slide. That way you can pause the video in case you haven't caught up to that part of the notes that we're still on at that point. Next slide. First of all, why do you trade with other countries? All right. When we talk about trade, you're talking about voluntary trade. You're talking about countries have chosen to trade with other countries. And it says here in the first line, it does say exchange of good. Please note, we're not talking like bartering. This is not trading things. I have this, you have this. We'll just swap. There's money involved. Okay. Anytime you're talking about trade between countries, there's money involved. It's basically, I'll sell you this, and then I'll take your money and I'll use that to go buy the things that I need. All right. So not bartering. But countries have to trade with other countries because it's simple. No country has everything that they need. Every country has things that, resources and stuff that they're able to use and make stuff, but they also have things that they don't have access to in their own country, and they have to go get it from somewhere else. So because of that, you have to go trade with other countries. It could be for food, it could be for oil, it could be for a lot of different things, but nobody has everything that they need. So selling what you've got a lot of to get the money for the things that you need is really just the most sensible way to approach this. Next slide. So that's where specialization comes in. All right. Because countries cannot produce everything that they need, they got to specialize in what they do best. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make it more difficult than it is. Do what you do, and then sell that to somebody who needs it, get the money, and then go get the stuff that you need. Don't try to sit there and make stuff that you can't make or, don't have the resources for. Let somebody else who does it better do it, and then you buy it from them. That's what specialization basically is, right? It's also specialization, very, very efficient. It works out because, one, the quality goes up. If you're good at making something and have made a lot of it, chances are it's going to be a better product. All right. Production time goes down. People if they're used to making something, they can make it faster. And best of all, the cost of the product ends up being lower. All right. And those are the reasons it really increases trade because, countries don't have to sit there and argue about the price or something like that. It really comes in as a thing where the price has been lowered because of the specialization, and it works out for both sides. The person buying the stuff gets things at a better price. The person who is making it still makes a profit. It does a good job. Next slide. All right, so to sum up specialization, really, basically the idea is that it encourages trade among countries because no country produces everything it needs. Got to go somewhere and get your stuff. And again, country selling the product makes a profit. Country buying the product gets what it needs. Pretty straightforward. Next slide. All right, specifically the countries we've been studying in the Middle East, you've got a lot of oil. Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, others in the area. They all really specialize in oil production and export a lot of oil every day. I mean, literally, like it says, millions of barrels of oil every day. And we've done an activity already where we saw that oil's, petroleum, raw oil is used in so many, thousands of products. All right. Bunch of countries need that oil. The United States is one of the biggest users of petroleum in the world. All right, and because of that, we buy their oil, and then in turn we sell them things like food, medicine, raw materials because they don't have a lot of it. Kind of almost exaggerated. It sounds like it's exaggerated, but petroleum, raw oil accounts for 90% of Saudi Arabia's exports. All right, that's not a good thing. Don't get me wrong, they make a lot of money off of it, but having that much of your economy based on one product is really, really bad. And we'll talk about that in class. I'll let you think about why it's bad, see if you can come up with a reason when we talk about it. Next slide. This is a picture of a refinery plant. in Saudi Arabia. You can see the refinery in the background there, all this, the steel towers and pipes and everything like that. And then in the foreground, closer to the camera, you see the storage containers for the processed oil that's getting ready to be shipped out, via tanker truck or pipeline to a waiting tanker ship, likely in the Persian Gulf, and to be sent to wherever they're sending it to. United States, Great Britain, Western Europe. Those are some of the big buyers of Saudi Arabia's oil. Now, Israel kind of goes the other way. Israel doesn't have a lot of natural resources. So it kind of takes what other people do and then improves on it. Or does the processing part. For instance, diamonds. It says it's the world's largest exporter of processed diamonds. I mean, I almost want to underline the word processed in that, because they take the raw diamonds in, and then they do the cutting and the refining and things like that, and make the diamonds to what you would see in a ring or in a necklace and things, on a watch. That's what they do. So they take the raw diamonds and actually make it into a usable product. They do a lot of that with petroleum as well. They're not a big petroleum country in the Middle East, but they do things like medicine, aircraft parts, electronic circuits, things that require a high degree of education. So that's a big part of what Israel does, is focusing on their education and then taking other people's products and giving them, reselling that as higher end products. Turkey has a more diversified economy. Diversified is a big fancy sounding word. It's not really that bad. It just means it's different. It has a lot of different things in there. All right. So they have a lot of different stuff that they do. When, there's a nice list here. They have gold, they have coal, they have textiles. Textiles is, any kind of material production. Clothing usually falls under textiles a lot of times. Automobiles. Notice also Turkey, not one of the oil countries. It's not listed. Oil's not listed in that thing, so they're not involved in that. But they do have a very good economy, just based on a lot of different smaller things. This is a picture from inside the Israel Diamond Exchange, and this is basically where people come to examine the cut, the quality of the different diamonds, and then settle on a price and things like that. And you can see, it's a huge amount, and the building just goes around and around, continues on out. So a lot of diamonds being handled right here. It's a lot of money. You'd think they would put it behind something other than a big glass window. That's it for this one. Later.